when it comes to this vehicle. He also reported that the owner of this big rig saw it being stolen and tried to pursue it in another vehicle. Eventually, the CHP joined that pursuit. We don't know the circumstances behind how the person stole it. We don't know who the person is that stole it. And even though it's unlikely he has people with him, he may. And those cabs in those big rigs are sizable. They can fit quite a few people or gear or whatever you want to call it. We just don't know the circumstances here. So a lot of problems when it comes to a vehicle this size and weight traveling down the 5 freeway right down the San Fernando Valley as they try to figure out what's going to happen. More than likely, CHP is right behind them. They're going to continue just to watch this. Maybe the guy will eventually slow down and give up and get bored with this. But as mentioned also, these vehicles are equipped to go across country. So they have gigantic gas tanks, and this is a pursuit that could go on for hours and hours if this suspect is willing to do so and law enforcement doesn't have an alternative plan on what to do about it. Nevertheless, heading south on the 5 freeway now, I think they probably... Let's see. Let me see if Gabe is there so I can get a better idea on the locator here. Gabe, can you hear us?
Yeah, we're back with you now. We are approaching Glendale now, actually over or ABC 7 headquarters here at the 5 and the 134. It looks like this tractor trailer is going to, let's see if we pass this ramp here. Looks like he's going to commit to the 5 southbound, passing the 134. We're right over it here, Tyler. Just let it come under us here. And if he continues on this path, we're going to approach Atwater Village, downtown, and that is if and only if this driver doesn't decide to take any off-ramps before that as we go passing this 134. So once again, this is going to be in the Glendale area. The driver, as far as speeds, they've been okay. They've been in the 50 to 60 mile an hour range, and we're kind of staying at that point. Although now this tractor trailer is in the far left lane, appears to be passing other traffic there on the freeway, so that's never a good sign. And the fact that other traffic is there could be a danger.
He's transitioned to the 134. It looks like. Am I right? Yeah, it looked like he took that 134 transition, which means he's probably heading through Glendale, Ventura Freeway, and eventually heading towards Pasadena, I think.
Yeah, David, it does appear that that is the case right now. We're just getting AirSept HD again in position here as we leave the Burbank Airport airspace. And now you are correct. We are heading eastbound on the 134 freeway. So we're going to go through downtown Glendale, and that will continue through towards Pasadena, passing the 2 freeway. This driver will also have the option to take the 210 again if he wants to go back up towards to an area that he is familiar with. We do always see that happen in a lot of these pursuit situations. But as of right now, we're continuing at these moderate speeds through downtown Glendale in the middle of the 134 freeway. So as you said, we've transitioned off of the 5 freeway, and now we're on the 134, about to go through downtown Glendale here.
Right. Okay. So then he could scoot down and still pick up back onto the 5 if he felt that way, or he just stays on the 134 and heads to Pasadena and then continues out towards the Inland Empire if he wants to. The thing to consider about a large vehicle like this is they don't have the maneuverability like a small car. And we have occasionally seen small cars being able to dart in and out of traffic, get into a parking structure, and even try to escape on foot that way. A lot harder for this kind of vehicle to do anything in a clandestine or sneaky way. There's no way they could maneuver this vehicle. So the CHP is going to stay right on top of them. I imagine they are just going to follow this through until things begin to slow down or get tiring for this driver.
Yeah, and CHP has the ability to switch off various units as they go through different areas. This thing started in what's called the CHP Newhall Division. They then transitioned to the Altadena Division, and that division will take you almost to the 605 freeway, at which point they can switch to the next division that's further east after that. So they don't have an issue with officers getting tired. They have the they have the ability of time on their side, and this driver does not. So this driver will be the one that we're going to be worried about getting tired as we continue eastbound on the 134, which could eventually turn into the 210. Now we're coming up on this 134 2 freeway merge, and this will give the driver an option of cutting over through La Cañada Flint Ridge towards the 2 freeway, or going southbound on the 2 towards downtown. If he goes southbound on the 2, that could make things a little tricky as those roads get a little bit more narrow through there. And it looks like we're going to commit to the 134 eastbound. He's passing that interchange right now as I see 1, 2, 3, 4 CHP units following this pursuit right now, and a couple more trailing behind that. And as we said, this thing could go a number of different ways, but as of now, it looks like we're heading further east into the San Gabriel Valley and possibly into the Inland Empire. As we see this tractor trailer now coming up a little bit close and now kind of hanging with this other tractor trailer here. As we mentioned before,
Wow.
a lot of these trucks do have the ability to communicate with each other, so I wonder if some of that was going on right there, and if that other tractor trailer driver just decided to back off, and if he just wanted no part in this, which was the smart move there, and CHP and this tractor trailer are going to continue eastbound for now. Up this grade, this is the part of the 134 freeway that goes a little bit uphill, so we may see this truck slow down a little bit as we go uphill. And then after that, as you said, David, we have Pasadena. Looking ahead on that 210, 134 interchange, not a lot of traffic in that direction either. A lot of open roads for this truck driver to go right now.
Yeah, and a pretty aggressive driving that we witnessed there. He did move out of his lane and push over into that other trucker's lane, which is very dangerous. And this right here on your right-hand side, a little bit of video, a similar move he did to that vehicle. I'm not sure. It does seem like he's intentionally squeezing some vehicles. I don't know if he thinks that's a tactic to make them overreact. Again, here, swerving from one lane to the next, and of course this vehicle is a tricky vehicle to be maneuvering quickly. But that was a little bit scary with that one big rig truck that he came up on the right-hand side of and then even pushed him over. And that truck went over to the shoulder of the road. So he is showing some aggression, even though he is seemingly in a straight line. When he does come up upon somebody, he does make an aggressive move against that person or that vehicle. But that's what you're seeing on the right-hand side is some vehicle. And there, right there, he hit something or he moved something quickly to where kind of a swerve back and forth where you see the whole trailer kind of tipping one way to the other. Maybe he doesn't know how to drive a big rig, and maybe that explains, you know, some of this driving, but maybe he does. We just don't know. And we don't know what might be in that container either, unless you've heard something, Gabe.
Yeah, David, we have not heard anything in terms of what this big rig container might be holding at this time. We do know that CHP is in contact with the original owner of the vehicle, and surely they are getting that information right now, but they haven't revealed that to us. So that is a good question right now. It looks like this big rig isn't quite one of those wide load big rigs, and also we don't see anything to indicate any sort of hazardous materials, at least as we zoom in right now. I don't see anything to indicate that at this point, which is also good news. We just have this driver, which is failing to pull over for CHP officers right now, continuing through the 134-210 interchange, and it looks like he's going to be committed to the eastbound 210 through Pasadena. He might have another option up ahead to pull off onto that 210, but it does look like at this point we're going into Pasadena.
Right, a wide open road for him as he kind of meanders between one lane and the next. Here's what we're talking about. Watch closely. See that one big rig truck in the right-hand side? That's just simply going in a straight line. He's not doing anything aggressive, but the vehicle being pursued, he actually starts moving over right there. He's pushing over into the other big rig's lane, forcing that big rig to go onto the shoulder of the road. An aggressive move. Not sure what he's going to gain from that tactic besides putting everybody else in danger and himself. But that was pretty clear as day that he went right up against him, pushed him on over, and then carried on straight down the road. CHP is staying behind them, watching everything, and not able to do a whole lot at this point. And of course, this being such a large vehicle, if they tried to do anything aggressive, it could be even more dangerous.
Yeah, pit maneuver is obviously going to be out of the question here. Spike strips may be a possibility, but a little bit less likely of a possibility just because of the weight of the vehicle and the speed that it's going in. They don't know the weight of the load in the back of the tractor right now, so that's something that CHP also has to figure out. As we kind of lean over to the far right shoulder, almost using that right shoulder, as you can see CHP, they have a vehicle in the on-ramp and they have vehicles right behind the trailer right now. As we make a move over to the far right lane, using that right shoulder again, all the way into the right shoulder, we may be seeing a change in this driver's behavior. It does appear that he might be slowing down, but he might just be going slower in that right shoulder right now. I believe the next exit here, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be the Lake Boulevard exit, and that would be pretty interesting to say the least if we see this big rig going down Lake Boulevard. But now he's back off that shoulder. Oh, a little bit of a strong move to the right and a strong move back to the left, and that caused the whole tractor to shake as we continue eastbound on this 210 now. We're committed to the 210, and we're starting to see a little bit of aggravated behavior from this driver, and this is where it becomes really dangerous and really unpredictable for these CHP officers following right now, because they have to keep a safe distance, but they also have to keep in mind the safety of the public and figure out what they can do to hopefully bring this big rig driver to a stop, as we see him using all of the right shoulder, using a couple of lanes towards the right side of the freeway. It's just really uncertain what this driver is going to do right now.
Yeah, a couple of times now we've seen him tipping that cab, making it rock back and forth, and I think it's when he aggressively moves in one direction and then pulls it back to the other direction. You know, God forbid if he pulls off of the freeway and tries to pull that trailer into surface streets, that's got to be really, really tricky, and he's going to have to be skilled to pull that off. So that, you know, hopefully he can keep things safe, stay on the freeway, eventually, you know, get tired of this and give up. He doesn't have a whole lot of options, and he's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to get away from anybody, not in that vehicle. He's just going to be able to continue to drive. And I'm sure in interviewing the owner of that truck, hopefully the owner of that truck knows how much gas he has, or fuel he has in the vehicle as well.
Yeah, that's a consideration that CHP is trying to get more information on right now. They're trying to figure out what exactly this truck is carrying. But it's just a very interesting scene right now as we continue eastbound on the 210. And as you mentioned, this driver doesn't really have a lot of options because of the size of this vehicle. We've seen a lot of pursuits, especially lately, end in parking structures or be able to just pull away under a bridge. It would be a lot more difficult for a truck of this size to be able to do something like that. And with all the CHP units in the area, that is probably an escape route that is out of the question right now for this driver. He has one option here, to just keep going in one direction, or you know, he could pull off the freeway, but that probably won't end well for this driver because of the small roads as we head further east into the San Gabriel Valley, into the IE. There's a lot more residential streets that this driver would be exposed to in those areas. But as of right now, at least in the past few minutes or so, we're continuing on the eastbound 210 now. We're about to leave Pasadena. We're going to get into Sierra Madre and those northern San Gabriel Valley neighborhoods, and we'll see where he goes from here. But this thing does have the potential to go all the way to the IE.
Yeah, it could go for a long, long ways. Well, we're only 15 seconds away from ending Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. Jimmy Kimmel Live is next on ABC 7, but our coverage of this big rig pursuit will continue on the ABC 7 Los Angeles app at abc7.com.
Okay, copy that. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to live breaking news coverage here on the ABC7 app and our ABC7 streaming platforms at abc7.com as well. We're bringing you live coverage of a big rig pursuit. This has been going on for about 30 minutes now. Started up in the Santa Clarita area with someone apparently hopping in the cab of this big rig and driving away with it. The owner followed for a little while before he was finally able to contact CHP or local law enforcement and get them involved. That's when a pursuit began. We came down the 5 freeway to the 134 through Glendale over towards Pasadena. Now we're on the 210 eastbound. The thing with these bigger vehicles is they have quite a bit of range, and we don't know how much fuel this truck actually started with. So this could very well be one of those pursuits that continues far into the Inland Empire. We were discussing earlier on our live coverage on ABC7 on television that we have seen a little bit of aggravation, a little bit of erratic driving from this driver. It's uncertain if the question always is he a licensed commercial driver? Is this person even someone that has experience driving a big rig? That's something that we always have to ask. A little bit of a cloud deck here that we are going to try and get on the other side of. I don't think this will impact us as far as overall pursuit coverage, but there's just a little bit of a marine layer right over, looks like Sierra Madre, or yeah, it's right over Sierra Madre. So once we get past Sierra Madre on the 210, we should be able to catch up with this pursuit and see this big rig driver come out on the other side. Rob, our photographer, doing a great job keeping everything in focus. And there's our big rig coming out of the clouds, continuing eastbound on the 210. CHP very close behind. I'm going to do a little bit of radio work up here in Air 7 HD. It does appear that another thing we mentioned in the broadcast is CHP has the ability to switch offices and divisions as a pursuit moves through a city or through the county. So it's not the same officers that are going to stay in pursuit the entire time. And it does appear that CHP has switched to one of their other offices that cover the San Gabriel Valley. So I'm going to try and get them on the radio so we can just be sure that we are monitoring everything that they're dealing with, and so we can bring you at home the very latest information. We're at the 210 East at Myrtle, continuing through the San Gabriel Valley. We've left Sierra Madre. We're in Monrovia now. Duarte will be one of the next neighborhoods along the way, but it does appear that this tractor trailer isn't particularly interested in visiting any of these neighborhoods. He or she is continuing eastbound, and we've kind of gone at these moderate speeds, about 50 to 60 miles an hour. We've seen this tractor trailer all the way on the right side of the road. I just saw him in the fast lane there, not using the carpool lane, oddly enough. Kind of straddling the number 2 and the number 3 lanes, continuing eastbound. As we zoom in on the cab, you see a couple lights there on in the driver's side, possibly a GPS, maybe a phone. You see a little motion in there from the driver. Nothing too erratic as far as the driver is concerned, but we're drifting a little bit back to the right side in the number 4 lane. An option here for this driver coming up is the 605 freeway. That 605 freeway will take us through the San Gabriel Valley towards El Monte. We could continue this all the way towards Orange County if this driver decides to go that way. And we're going to find out very shortly what he's going to do. We have LAPD with their helicopter still assisting with this pursuit. It is a CHP pursuit. It's been a CHP pursuit from the beginning. I'm being told now that the sheriff helicopter is now taking the lead here. The LAPD ship, obviously now that we're a ways outside of the LAPD area, the city of Los Angeles, they have peeled off and let the LA County Sheriff's Department helicopter take the lead on this. If we continue eastbound, we're going to obviously get into San Bernardino County, and then San Bernardino has their own fleet of various law enforcement helicopters that may join this pursuit along with us here in Air 7 HD. We see that CHP unit getting a little bit close to the back end of that truck. That's about the closest I've seen them get in the duration of this pursuit. So we're going to try and find out if they are trying to get visual of the driver right now to at least get better information about how to handle this, situation. We've got the LA Metro going by at the same time. Looking at the cab of this trailer now, pretty dark in there. It's hard to tell if there's anybody else with this driver, if the driver's just alone there. As we kind of drift over to the left side now, drifting into the carpool lane, it does appear almost as if this drifting is unintentional, as we're drifting a little bit closer to that center median. That's a little too close for comfort, I would say, and now we drift a little bit back into that number 1 lane, as we see another CHP unit speed up, and probably they're going to take the lead on this pursuit, so they're going to hand over this pursuit to a different CHP division that will be able to take this into San Bernardino County. Looking up ahead, not much in the way of traffic for this driver to deal with. As we see one CHP unit pass the driver on the right side, that's a little interesting. Possibly going ahead for strategic purposes. We've seen CHP do this if they intend on possibly laying down spikes up ahead. But there's also other CHP units down the 210 freeway as you get into San Bernardino, so that may not quite be the case in this situation, as we're still in this number 1 lane, kind of straddling between the carpool lane and the number 1 lane. It's almost as if this driver has some sort of distraction in the vehicle, maybe on the phone, just because that drifting that we're seeing as he's holding 1 lane and he kind of drifts from one side to another just kind of seems unintentional. It seems like the driver's letting that happen because of a loss of focus. What is that channel? Copy. Thank you. It does appear now, we discussed earlier that CHP, they're probably not going to pit this truck, but they may lay down a spike strip, and we are hearing that may be a possibility pretty soon here. We don't know the exact location of where that's going to occur, but it does appear that CHP is taking that into consideration, and we may see that shortly here. Yeah, thank you. Passing Grand Avenue now. Light traffic as CHP often with these pursuit situations, they'll report the traffic conditions. Almost in the Glendale area now. I don't see anything obvious. It's hard to. They're continuing though. On what? We keep hearing that word on the CHP frequency, spike strips. It does appear that CHP is preparing to use that. That's just one of their tools in their bag of tricks that CHP can use to bring a pursuit like this to the to a conclusion. I'm gonna turn off icon for now. It's just static. What are you into right now? What mountaintop? What mountaintop are you on right now? No, but what mountaintop are you in right now? Okay. That should hold. Well, I think someone's like, I don't know if someone's gonna be there for that. Again, if you're joining us here on the ABC7 app, excuse us here. We might dip to black here for a second as we manage signals, just to make sure we maintain a video signal as we continue eastbound to the Inland Empire. Copy. All right, we're back with you on all of our ABC7 streaming platforms, abc7.com, on YouTube, Facebook. We've been following this big rig pursuit come out of Santa Clarita. We are east of Glendora now, continuing on the 210. We've already passed the 605, almost into San Dimas now, Laverne. If we continue on this way, we'll get into some of these IE neighborhoods. Rancho Cucamonga, we'll pass the 15 freeway. That's if this driver gets that far. We do know that these things carry a lot of fuel. They do have a large range. So the fact that this thing started in Santa Clarita means that there are a number of options of where this pursuit can end. We've been kind of bouncing between some erratic behavior, some shifting back and forth, and even shaking the entire cab of the truck. And then we've had periods of very calm behavior, where the driver of the big rig just kind of goes really slow. What'd they say? Oh, the big rig coming up on another night big rig down there in the slow lane, coming right up behind him and then swerving into the middle lane to get around him. Like we've said in these situations, I've never driven one of these trucks, but from what I've seen, from what I've heard, they all have CB radios. They all have the ability to stay in contact with one another. So I'm wondering if that's the case, if there's any communication going on. We have been hearing that S word. That means spike strips. There's one, and I saw it go across the freeway. It's hard to see if it actually made impact on those tires, but it does appear that a couple of the tires here were hit by those spike strips. We saw that CHP officer lay down the spike strips. We saw him pull it back. And now it appears that a couple of the tires here have been flattened by those spike strips. Yeah, if it impacts one of the front tires, that could impact steering. That could be good as far as bringing this pursuit to an end, because making this truck hard to control would hopefully cause the driver to stop. That left front tire is looking a little low as well. We're seeing a little bit of movement from that wheel. Yeah, yeah. Looks like a little bit of smoke. Oh, there's some smoke from the left front tire. It does appear that left front tire is going down. We got a lot of smoke coming out from that tire. As we're on the 210 eastbound passing Mountain, this driver doing a surprising job, as we're hearing from CHP, saying both front tires are flat. CHP is telling us both front tires are flat, and now we're seeing a little bit of swerving up to the right. There's some sparks coming now. Sparks from the left tire. A little bit more swerving from this driver, swerving over to the right shoulder. Still on the gas, it appears, not giving any intention that this driver is going to stop. A lot more sparks coming from that front tire, and a lot more smoke coming from that front tire. That tire is going to be gone before you know it, as you see the debris, and there goes the bumper, there goes the whole tire. The tire is gone, and now we're on the rims. When that happens, well, we've seen these before. You see a lot of sparks. You have the potential for fire, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens if this driver decides to continue pushing forward under these conditions. Both front tires, yep. We have consistent spikes coming, or sparks coming from that wheel. This thing's really going to be ground down to the axles here shortly if he continues. I got him. All right, so this truck driver doing a surprising job at maintaining speed and maintaining a straight direction, if you will, although we do have a curve in the freeway coming up. Doing a little bit of swerving motion to the right, almost into that right shoulder. Now swerving back to the left a little bit as we see the night sun shine down on this truck driver again. It does appear, I'm going to find out right now that that's, oh, shifting back and forth now. And we're really slowing down now. Rob, if we can get the speedometer, I'd imagine he's probably in the 20, 30 mile an hour range. This pursuit really slowing down. And I'd be interested to find out if that is actually the truck driver actually slowing down, or if the truck is actually unable to continue now. We see a little bit of smoke coming from some of those rear wheels now. I wonder if the spike strip actually got those as well. That was just an incredible spike strip attempt that it got the front tires. It looks like it got one of the rear tires and possibly more. And that could be what CHP needed to do to bring this thing to an end, as we're seeing this tractor trailer continue to slow down. We have CHP units behind the truck. We have more CHP units behind those CHP units. Obviously, if you're going to use the 210 freeway tonight from Pasadena out towards the IE, that's going to be probably a slow go for you. If this thing comes to a stop on the freeway, it's obviously going to be shut down for some time. We're up into the fast lane now. Not going very fast. This is that curve in the 210 freeway north of Claremont as you get towards Upland. We're really seeing this truck slow down. Oh, it's swerving a little bit to the right side. You can really see the driver manipulating the steering wheel and causing those wheels to go back and forth. It's like maybe he thinks something is stuck, and he's thinking that swerving back and forth is going to get him a little more of an ability to continue forward. Unfortunately, we've already seen that tire, at least the left front tire, fly away. That's not part of the equation here now, and that's going to make it really difficult for this truck driver to continue. Using that left shoulder now. Looks like one of those rear tires is going flat, right? Going under a bridge. I believe that's going to be Mountain Avenue. We heard one of the CHP officers command on the radio to keep your distance, so they are keeping everyone's safety in mind here. As always in these situations, officers have to treat the pursuit driver as someone that could be armed and dangerous. We haven't heard specifics to that as well, but we do know that this driver possibly stole this tractor trailer. We're really seeing this thing slow down into the teens. The driver using all of the roadway now, going from the left side over to the right side, back to the left side. Going all the way back to the left side again. We already know that both front tires are down. When we were a little bit at higher speeds, we saw a lot of sparks coming from those front wheels. It looks like those front wheels obviously don't have tires attached to them anymore, so they're going to make things difficult as far as controlling this tractor trailer. But you can still see those wheels turning back and forth as the driver turns the steering wheel back and forth. We saw the bumper fly away, the tire fly away. This truck could start coming apart if we go any longer. There's some more sparks coming off the left front tire, and all of a sudden we're picking up speed again. That's incredible because when the truck starts slowing down like that, you wonder if it's a problem with the vehicle causing him to slow down. Apparently not, though, because now all of a sudden we're in the 50, 60 mile an hour range and more pieces are flying off the vehicle. More sparks coming off as we continue to pick up speed, continuing eastbound on the 210 freeway in Ontario. Even more sparks coming off that front tire now. And those two CHP units keeping their distance, but still keeping an eye on things. Behind that, CHP has a traffic brake going, so they're not letting anybody pass this truck. But now that we're going to a little bit faster speeds, there is some vehicular traffic up ahead that this thing could catch up to, but I'm not sure we're going fast enough to do that. .51 miles an hour there, and the sparks just seem to multiply. Now it appears they're not just coming from the wheel, but they're coming from the actual, I would say the bumper, but we saw the bumper fly away, but it's like parts of this tractor trailer in the front are now grinding against the freeway surface, and we're seeing all those sparks because of that. Approaching Rancho Cucamonga now on this eastbound 210 freeway. I think we're in Rancho Cucamonga now. We see a little bit of movement into the right. You have to wonder what's going through this driver's mind right now, knowing that he has a vehicle in deteriorating condition. Judging by this driver's insistence to keep on going forward, as we see more sparks coming out the back of the truck now, you have to wonder how this thing comes to an end. There's a lot of heat that's going to be created in the front of that cab and the engine area where the fuel tanks are. These usually don't end well, either in a crash or fire. We've seen these things catch fire. What do you got on the radio back there? Copy. Looks like we have flames now. We have flames coming from the undercarriage. A lot of sparks coming from the right side as well. Who else is on that side? Even with all of these sparks and clear signs of fire, this driver's continuing to plow northbound on the 210 eastbound through Rancho Cucamonga. This truck is completely on fire. Now we're coming to a stop. We're seeing that fire start to spread to the cab. If we can, we'll bring Air 7 HD to the front of the vehicle. Is he out? Is he out? There he is. The driver's out. He's climbing the fence. Stay on this side if we can, Tyler. Don't get any further south. We see this driver struggling to climb up the hill. That's a good sign because it means that CHP doesn't have to deal with rescuing this suspect. Let's see if we can go a little bit north because of the sound wall there. And you could see that cab completely on fire now. That's going to be a complete loss. As we come on the other side of the sound wall here, we'll hopefully be able to see that suspect still on the run, continuing southbound. He's continuing southbound on one of the surface streets here, and that CHP air unit still has eyes on that suspect. He's continuing on foot, possibly running out of breath, jumping over a fence there onto a private property, into a home maybe. Looks like a condo complex. Hopefully CHP gets eyes on this guy shortly. I see one CHP officer on foot a little further down the road, and we see this guy now. This is the suspect. Stay on this side. Perfect, perfect. The air unit still has eyes on this suspect. It looks like he's out of breath just kind of walking through the neighborhood. And hopefully these CHP officers can get to this guy before he can cause any more trouble. Going around another townhome here. That night sun still staying on that general area, which means that CHP does have eyes on him. Now he's running northbound. Oh, it looks like he's going to hop into a patio here, possibly. Hopefully that CHP... Oh, no, not going to hop into the patio. Running out into one of the driveways. It does look like he's in kind of a condominium complex here, continuing to walk on foot. That one CHP officer is in a foot pursuit now, and another CHP officer closing in. This CHP officer looks like he has a lot more steam left in him, but that suspect still does too. He's going to continue on one of the surface streets here in this townhome complex. A lot of trees in this area. We're going to move Air 7 HD around to get you the best angle. Hopefully we see the suspect pop out on the other side here. And there he is. There he is. The suspect popping out onto the sidewalk. You see that one officer right behind him, and it looks like he made a tackle right behind the tree. And hopefully we will see the conclusion of this pursuit very shortly here. We see one officer on scene, another officer on scene, and it does appear that the suspect is giving up peacefully, which is all we can ask at this point. Looks like this is the 6600 block of Canary Pine Avenue in Ontario, a townhome complex just south of the 210 freeway here, the 210 and Haven. As we look back at the wreckage, the tractor trailer here now a complete loss, going up in flames. CHP is on scene, but the fire department is not. They're going to have to get the local fire department out here to help put this thing out. And there's our suspect. Our suspect on the ground in handcuffs after a long pursuit from Santa Clarita down the 5 freeway to the 134 to the 210, ending in Ontario after a spike strip, a perfect spike strip attempt by CHP, knocking out multiple wheels on this tractor trailer, eventually causing sparks as the suspect driver continued to drive this thing and drive it eastbound. That caused this fire. Once the driver realized that his truck was going up in flames, he did the smart thing and pulled over and got out. Unfortunately, he did not give up at that point. The driver ran. As we were saying, the driver ran and officers took this suspect into custody. I'm not sure if those were CHP officers or an assisting agency. Looked like different uniforms down there. Yeah, you could descend a little bit. I think it... Can you descend at all or no? Because I think you're... Open me back up? Yeah. Thank you for joining us on abc7.com and our ABC7 streaming platforms. We're going to wrap things up in our with our pursuit coverage here. As Rob, our photographer, looks at what remains of this big rig tractor trailer, completely engulfed in flames. That's going to be a total loss. So they're waiting for the fire department to come here and put this thing out. In the meantime, the 210 freeway is going to be closed at Haven for the time being while they get this thing put out. That might be closed for some time. If you know anybody heading on the eastbound 210 towards the IE, let them know. But the good news here, one suspect in custody after a lengthy big rig pursuit ending with a spike strip and fire. Live on Air 7 HD, Gabe Santos, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.